The impression was one of general astonishment. Um, the Japanese were so friendly and so kind. It was almost impossible to realize that the war had ended only 3 months earlier. And people were so helpful. And I remember being invited into a house, and at that time they had no cakes, no okashi at all. And they gave me with the tea a piece of sweet potato.
Oh.
That was the only sweet thing they had, and they shared it with me. And people were really so nice. The children were, when I went while I was in Japan, as far as Nikko. And on the way, whenever the jeep went through a village, the children would all jump out and banzai. They were terribly happy to see us. It was all almost unbelievable that these people have been fighting, well, not the children, but their elders have been fighting America until so recently. And I felt very warmly towards the Japanese. I remember going into a barber shop, and I had a shave as well as a haircut, and I felt very happy there. And it was only after I left the barber shop that I said to myself that the woman who shaved me could have cut my throat if she wanted to, but she didn't want to. That was the important thing. But that sort of thing happened. And I could see that, of course, many things that told me of the poverty of Japan at the end of the war, the scarcity of food, the people, men wearing their uniforms because they had no other clothes to wear.
Right.
And I sympathized with them. I mentioned I went to Nikko. I went to Nikko for a special reason. That was December 1945, because in the textbook of Japanese that we used during the Navy language school, there was an expression of Nikko minahuchi wa kekko to you na. So I decided I would have to go to see Nikko. And so I went there with two men who had been in my unit in Pearl Harbor, and we were told to take rice with us because when we stayed somewhere they wouldn't eat rice otherwise. And I brought along rice and gave it to the owner of the place we stayed. And then a most unusual thing happened. I gave him white rice, polished rice, but when I had meal there, the rice was unpolished, so the polished rice turned into unpolished rice. Of course, it was either a miracle or he exchanged his rice for mine. In any case, it was just seeing Nikko when just after snow had fallen. I wandered around, and a boy, must have been a junior high school student, offered to show me around, and it was I was the only visitor to Nikko, if you can imagine. Nowadays there are always crowds there, but I was the only one, and to see Nikko in the snow was also more enjoyable than seeing it on a sunny day when some of the rather gaudy sculptures are all too plain.